There's something timeless about the raw edge of a tree. That imperfect, winding contour where the bark once lived. It's not just a line, it's a memory. A fingerprint of nature, untouched by machines and measurements. When most furniture hides the tree behind clean cuts and factory polish, a live-edge bed frame does the opposite. It puts nature front and center, lets the wood speak for itself. And in the bedroom, a place meant for rest, for silence, for something deeply human, that wild edge becomes something sacred. Picture this: a slab of wood, long and heavy, milled just enough to be usable, but not so much that its soul is erased. You can still see the undulations along its side, like frozen waves or a mountain ridgeline. No two the same, no two even close. Some edges are tight and compact, like the rings of a curled leaf. Others are sprawling, jagged, deeply textured, like a map of erosion etched in slow time. And when that edge forms the side of your bed, it's not just decoration, it's presence. It's the boundary between you and the machine-made world. A live-edge bed frame doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. Its quiet strength lies in its authenticity. The headboard, often the centerpiece, rises like a horizon, sometimes a single slab of walnut or oak or maple, cut wide and tall, standing vertically with its edges untrimmed. Other times, it's two book-matched halves, mirrored slices of the same tree joined together, so their grains flow like ink in water, like lungs in a slow breath. You run your fingers across the surface and feel not just wood, but story. Growth rings, knots, cracks filled with resin or left open to remind you this thing once lived. Below the headboard, the frame itself holds that same truth. Thick, rounded side rails of solid wood, live edges facing outward, cradling the mattress like hands cupping water. Some designs lift the wood on chunky legs, exposed and honest. Others float it subtly, hiding supports beneath. So the slab seems to hover above the floor like a hovering landmass. Even the hardware, if used at all, is tucked away, invisible. The goal isn't to show off construction, it's to let the wood breathe. And let's talk about finish. Because a live-edge bed frame isn't a glossy showroom piece. It's tactile. It wants to be touched. Most are oiled or waxed, not lacquered. Finishes that sink in instead of sitting on top. You can smell it. That earthy, nutty scent of linseed or tung oil. You can see the grain come alive under soft lighting. The way it catches shadows. The way the color shifts from edge to center. Golden at the sapwood. Deep brown or red at the heart. Then there's the slab itself. How it's chosen. Because not all wood can be live edge. It has to be wide. Has to be cut with care. Milled and dried over months, sometimes years, to prevent warping and cracking. Every knot is considered. Every flaw becomes a feature. Some builders fill the voids with clear or colored resin, deep blue, smoky black, amber gold, adding depth and contrast. Others leave them open, raw, jagged, trusting the honesty of the material. The species matters too. Walnut is the classic, dark, bold, smooth-grained, with just enough variation to keep the eye moving. Oak is lighter, rougher, with pronounced grain and more rustic energy. Maple has a clean, pale glow, almost like bone or ivory, while cherry darkens with age, developing that warm, reddish patina over decades. Exotic woods like acacia or monkeypod bring wild colors and unpredictable lines, but they're harder to source ethically. Every board is a choice. Every choice a statement. And in the bedroom, this isn't just about aesthetics. It's about atmosphere. A live-edge bed changes the feel of a space. It brings grounding, slowness, a reminder that rest isn't something you hack or optimize. It's something you surrender to. Beneath that edge, you sleep differently, dream differently. The natural form doesn't pull your attention. It softens it, lets you exhale a little deeper. Some designs incorporate lighting, low, hidden LED strips tucked beneath the frame or behind the headboard. At night, they glow like coals under a log, casting long, warm shadows that follow the wood's curves. It's subtle, intimate. Others go fully analog, no lights, no frills, just the quiet confidence of material left mostly untouched. Maybe a nightstand made from the same slab. Maybe not. The bed doesn't need company. It holds the room all on its own. And it's not just modern cabins and nature-forward homes embracing this style. Live-edge beds work in contrast too. In industrial lofts with concrete walls, the wood becomes a soft counterpoint. In minimalist spaces, it becomes the focal point, unfussy, unpretentious, and deeply alive. Even in traditional homes, it finds its place, bringing warmth and texture to rooms that might otherwise feel cold or over-designed. The making of one is its own ritual. Some are built by hand, slab by slab, by artisans who know how to listen to wood, who know that sanding too much erases character, that cutting off a twist might ruin the whole thing. Others are milled in small batches, shaped by CNC machines, but finished by hand, balancing precision with soul. Either way, the process is slow. And that's the point. These aren't beds made for turnover. They're made to last, made to age with you. Over time, the edges darken slightly. The oil wears in. The grain deepens. You might notice a new line in the surface, a scratch, a dent, a memory of some restless night or quiet morning. But it doesn't ruin anything. It adds. Because Live Edge wood doesn't demand perfection. It welcomes change. It's not trying to stay young forever. It's built to evolve. And if you ever move it, carry it from one space to another, you'll feel it. The weight, the density, not just of the material, but of meaning. You're not just lifting furniture. You're carrying a piece of the earth, transformed but not tamed. Still wild just enough. There's poetry in that. In building a place of rest out of something once living. Something that still carries echoes of wind and rain and growth. You don't get that from engineered wood or pressed boards or fast furniture that breaks after a year. You get it from trees that stood for decades, that were shaped slowly, that now shape you in return. And maybe that's what makes a Live Edge bed frame more than just a trend. It's not trendy. It's timeless. It's not just about bringing nature indoors. It's about letting nature set the rhythm. Letting each night begin and end beside a curve that wasn't measured or designed, but simply found. That, in all its irregularity, invites you to rest not perfectly, but fully. Because when your bed is made from a tree that still remembers the forest, sleep feels different. There's nothing quiet about a Live Edge bed frame. It's not meant to blend in, not meant to disappear into matching linens or mass-produced bedroom sets. This is furniture that owns the room. Big slabs, real weight, edges that still carry the original line of the tree. You don't sand those away. You don't straighten them out. You lean into them. Because they're the point. A Live Edge bed starts with choosing the right wood. And not just any wood. You need slabs with presence. You need grain that draws the eye. Not flat, not plain. Something that moves. Spalted maple, black walnut, white oak with figure. Ash that rolls like water when the light hits just right. These slabs aren't just structural, they're sculptural. And you build the frame around that idea. The headboard is usually the centerpiece. One massive Live Edge slab, sometimes book-matched, sometimes left uneven on purpose. You don't want symmetry. You want character. Maybe there's a knot. Maybe there's a crack. Maybe the edge dips low on one side and curls back high on the other. That's the story. That's the voice of the tree, still speaking long after it was felled. And that edge, rough, raw, untouched, that's what separates this from just another slab of hardwood. You don't hide it. You don't cut it square. You treat it. You smooth it just enough that it won't splinter under a hand. But you leave the curves, the contours, the bark line if it holds. You don't fix it. You respect it. The platform follows suit, clean, wide boards for the rails, often joined with visible hardware. Black steel brackets, floating tenons, box joints. You let the construction show. Not messy, not sloppy, but honest. It's a bed built like a bridge. Every part earns its place. Some builders keep the live edge all the way around, headboard, footboard, even the side rails. Others keep it just on the headboard, letting the rest of the frame serve as a minimal contrast. Clean lines beneath chaos. Straight edges supporting that one raw, organic curve. It's not about matching. It's about balance. This kind of bed doesn't sit high. Most of them hover low, just a few inches off the floor. You want that weight to feel grounded, solid, like the whole thing grew from the ground up and never left. It's not light, not dainty. It's rooted. And finishing, this is where things get real. You're not spraying lacquer. You're not hiding the grain under layers. You oil it, maybe rub and wax. Some go for tongue oil, some go for hard wax finishes. You want to feel the texture, the warmth. When you run your hand across the headboard, you should feel wood, not plastic. You should know exactly what you're touching. And yes, it takes time. This isn't fast furniture. It's not IKEA. You don't build one of these in a weekend and walk away. You study the wood. You let it acclimate. You sand. You oil. You sand again. You wait. You don't rush the process because the wood won't let you. It moves when it wants. You work with it or you fail. There's something deeply personal about sleeping in a frame like this. It's not just aesthetics, it's connection. You wake up every day against something that used to be alive. Something that grew for decades before it became part of your space. And it still carries that age, that depth. A straight edge is easy to ignore. A live edge demands attention. And the irony, it's both timeless and rebellious. A live edge frame doesn't follow trends. It doesn't fit neatly into minimalism or mid-century or rustic. It just is. It transcends style by refusing to be boxed in. One day it'll feel like modern sculpture. The next, like something pulled out of the forest. That's the beauty of it. It shifts with the light, with the space, with the eye. And years from now, when the oil darkens, when the grain deepens, when the edges were smooth from touch, you won't see it as worn. You'll see it as lived in, evolved. The kind of furniture you don't replace. You pass it down. Because no two live-edge beds are alike. Not even close. That curve, that grain, that shape, it's one of one. And it always will be.